So I am here with Phil McSweeney, Chair of PatientSource. Lovely to meet you, Phil. Thank you for joining us.
Lovely to meet you.
So Phil, I'd love to know a little bit about your background.
Okay, I'm a nurse by training a very long time ago, and I spent 33 years in the NHS and moved from clinical work into teaching in the NHS, into management, and then in my early 50s I came out of the NHS. A bit of a career change. I got involved in working with small companies, startups. I was an executive coach, or I still am, advisor, mentor to people that want to grow companies. Became a NED with PatientSource, an angel investor, and I'm now the chairman of PatientSource.
Wow, what a journey! Incredible.
Yes.
So what got you involved in PatientSource?
I got involved 9 years ago. I think the company was about a year old.
Mm-hmm.
At that time I was a member of an angel group in Cambridge. PatientSource came to present to them. They were looking for the first raise of money. They'd been together for just the two of them, Mike and Phil, for about a year, had started to develop their software and were looking for investment to get it out into the market. And I thought that with my extensive NHS experience I might be of some help to them. So I kind of did two things at the same time. I became an investor and a non-exec director.
Wow.
For them, largely because I loved what they were trying to do, not what they'd achieved to that date, but and if you like, their potential going forward. So.
Wow. So was there something specific about PatientSource? Because I imagine there might have been other companies that were doing the same thing, or that you'd seen that had come to you before.
I think when you look at what's a company worth backing,
yeah.
It's not just about the product or the service, it's about the people.
Yeah.
So you have to so there's, if you like, the financial judgment that you might come to. Is this an investment worth pursuing? But also the emotional engagement. Am I really going to like these people? Am I going to get on with them? Could we get somewhere working in collaboration?
Yeah.
So you come to that kind of judgment, and it ticked both those kind of boxes. A great business, but with some great people with great potential.
Yeah, we've heard some amazing stories about how it all started.
Yes.
and the people behind it, which
Yes.
is. Yeah, very incredible. So was there anything particular that impressed you specifically, or was it generally the people that behind it?
The people, the business sector that they were trying to get into, what they could bring to the sector, given that it was a clinician-led initiative. My experience at that point with different electronic medical records was not great. There weren't that many around. Most of the NHS at that time was paper-based. I didn't know much about what was going on in the private sector, but I suspected it was no better. And there's an international, there clearly would be an international opportunity, and we in the UK would have been ahead of most other countries, nations, apart from America.
Yeah.
Where most of the big players kind of originated from. So I could see lots of potential, and at this point it was two guys in a garage, come up with an idea, spent a year beavering away, putting some meat on the bones, but still very early days for them. And I thought, yeah, I've no intention of going back to work for anybody else. I want to plough my own furrow. So
it's like a perfect
I'm
fit.
happy to get involved with these guys.
It must have been great to see the full journey from
Yes.
2 men in a garage to where it is
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Where do you see PatientSource going from today?
I think we have a software solution for lots of clinicians' problems, but so do many other electronic medical record companies. So it's a crowded marketplace. But I think we bring something that many others don't. So we might say it's developed by clinicians, but you've got to kind of unpick that and say, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's built by clinicians. It's built by someone that has the lived experience of working in clinical areas and seeing the problems that clinicians face every day. So we talk about, part of our mission is making clinicians' lives easier.
Yeah.
Because there's so much burden on clinicians, coming from all directions, that if you can just make one bit of their lives easier by making the software, by giving them, a great user experience, everything flows very logically,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to use, then that bit of their daily life is addressed really, and they don't have to fret or worry about that bit. They can concentrate on
The most important, yeah.
dealing with patients' real problems that they present with. So,
Yeah.
so I see us being a company that will grow by reputation around making clinicians' lives easier.
Yeah.
And when we say it's developed or built by clinicians, we're talking about people that are still out there using it, and helping to build it. So
that's the most important. Yeah, from hearing everybody in the company, there's
Yeah.
some relationship
Yes.
to being on the front
Yeah.
line. You've got someone that's married
Yeah,
to a
I mean,
GP, or you've got Mike that's actually
know,
working still on the front line. And
there's we can say we have a real empathy with clinicians because that's where we've come from.
yeah.
So,
I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but
Yeah.
it must be such a nice thing from you being a nurse to
Yeah.
now seeing what
Yeah.
it would have. I mean, it must have been amazing to think what you would have if you had that then when you were a nurse.
What I had then was entirely paper-based,
Yeah.
with all the problems that go with that. Things get lost, things are recorded inaccurately. You try and run an outpatient clinic, and a third of the patient's records that are booked in for that appointment with that consultant are not there for the consultant to refer to. Some of them used to be in the boot of the consultant's car, because they were travelling around from one clinic to another.
Yeah.
Whereas, with an electronic medical record, everything is to hand. The patient's history, their diagnostic stuff, their prescription, their observations. You can be there at the bedside if you want to with a tablet, which is what we try to do with PatientSource, and pull everything in.
Yeah.
And be able to show it to the patient and say, this is what results or whatever we've got for you, and make decisions collaboratively with the patient because you've got access to all this data.
Yeah, it's
So-
incredible. It seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Just transparency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us, Phil. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
I welcome the opportunity to say, what I really value.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much.